Most important versus least important skill. So elite. I think that the most important skill for an elite rugby coach is communication. This is because they have to make their players aware of different tactics within the game, as there can be many different set plays in a rugby game, and every player needs to be aware of the calls. Without the communication to the team, they would perform a lot worse because they would be less organised as a team, and they wouldn't all know which set play is which, and what the calls are. Furthermore, a coach may set individual players different tasks that they want the player to achieve during the game, or what they want the player to do specifically in the game. This could have a big effect on the game itself, and therefore if they can't tell the player what they want them to do accurately enough, then the players aren't going to know what they should do, and the teams won't play as well, leading to worse results. This is important in the amateur level as well, because they need to make their players aware of set plays, but there are many more at the elite level, and so the communication needs to help the players' understanding. I think that the least important skill for an elite rugby coach is problem solving. This is because there aren't many problems that occur at the elite level which coaches haven't experienced before. This is because many coaches are ex-players and therefore they have been involved with the game all of their life. This means that they have a greater understanding of the game, so there isn't much that they don't know, or many situations that could be a problem to them. This contrasts an amateur coach because they may not have played the game as much at a greater level, meaning that they don't have as good an understanding of situations, meaning that they could easily come across more problems. As well as this, they are less likely to be as experienced as a coach, meaning that they have less experience when reacting to problems, meaning that they are more likely to panic to situations which involve a problem. Amateur. I think the most important skill for an amateur rugby coach is organisation. This is because they are more likely to be coaching a team on their own, meaning that they must have sessions planned out in advance and accurately so that the sessions run smoothly. As well as this, they must book venues to train or find places, as elite coaches will be at professional clubs where they have their own training facilities, and so they don't have to worry as much about the organisation side of things. Furthermore, the amateur coaches just make sure that they have the correct amount of equipment, because if they are coaching a young group who are doing tag rugby and they forget a couple of tags, then that means that a couple of players will have to sit out instead of being involved, which wastes their time as they should be training and not sat out. I think that the least important skill for an amateur rugby coach is problem solving. This is because they can try to think of things in advance to solve problems. For example, they need a training ground, and then if they try to book a place to train early, and then they are more than likely going to be able to train there. Also, as it is amateur level training sessions or matches, it can be called off without as big a deal as elite level. Compared to the elite level, training sessions and matches must take place and therefore isn't easy to overcome problems. However, if there aren't enough players for a game at the amateur level, and then it can be called off, which would be the last solution to solve the problem. Techniques, fitness testing. This is where a coach may run some fitness tests to gain a better understanding on their players. This may be a multi-stage fitness test or a 30-metre sprint, and it will help to allow the coach to identify key strengths and weaknesses. From this, the coach can then decide what the player is good at and therefore put them in a position which is based on that, which is good because it means that their coach can put the player in the position which they think can get the most out of them. For example, a player who had a high score in the multi-stage fitness test may be considered as a central midfielder or a wing-back in football, because they can run for long periods of time and yet they would be well adapted to these positions. The positive of this technique is that it gives coaches a more detailed view of their players, which is good because it means that they can then experiment more with them in other positions. If this didn't happen, and then coaches may not know as much about a player, and then they may have a really fast player with good agility at centre-back when really he could be more useful out on the wing or as a striker. The negative of this is that it doesn't show the player's skills in relation to the game itself. This is bad because a player may have physical attributes that make them well equipped for a position, however they may not be technically well equipped for that position. For example, a player could have very good agility and cardiovascular endurance, meaning that they would suit the work rate of a centre midfielder. However, they may not be as composed on the ball in game situations, meaning that they don't actually play well in that position. Observational analysis. This is where a coach may watch a player perform and then decide where they may be best suited to play in the team. This would help them because they can watch players in different positions and see them in different scenarios, which could then lead to them putting them in certain positions. This is a positive technique because it gives the coaches a chance to watch the players perform, which can give them a chance to identify their strengths and weaknesses in game situations. For example, they may spot that a player is a very good passer with the ball and will tackle very well, meaning they may consider them in centre-back or centre midfield, which they could then move them to those positions to see how they perform. This is good because it gives coaches an indication on how players may perform in real games in their positions. The negative of this technique is that there are only so many positions, which is bad, because if there isn't enough time to continually do this, then coaches may not be able to see players in certain positions where they play better, meaning that they miss out on an opportunity to potentially better their squad. For example, a player who normally plays as a striker may be put in another position where they don't play as well because there are too many strikers and not all of them can play at once. Also, by doing that observational analysis, you may not have as much accuracy to how good the player actually is, because players have good days and they have bad days, and some players may be having good days while others may be having bad days, meaning that the players get chosen over others when they may not actually be consistently better than them. Goal setting. This is where a coach may set goals for individuals or the team to complete in order to try and improve them as players so that they can play better as a team. The reason they would use this is to help players with developing certain areas of their game which could be lacking in order to take them to that next level. The positive of this is that it can encourage players to improve, and it can improve them and the team. For example, the coach may want the team to play out from the back in games and keep possession, but the goalkeeper may not be confident enough to do this. So, this is where a coach may set the goalkeeper and the defenders a goal to try and play out from the back at least 5 times in a game to see if it improves their play style as a team. This is positive because by playing out of the back, the team is keeping possession of the ball, meaning that the opposition are less likely to score as they don't have the ball. This can also help them in attack as well, that they create more opportunities by having the ball more. Another positive of this is that it can motivate players as if they achieve a goal set by their coach, and then they'll feel as though they have pleased the coach and played well, meaning that they are going to increase in confidence and try to play that way again. This is good because it means that they will keep on trying to achieve those goals and improving as a player. The negative of this is that if a player doesn't complete a goal set by a coach, then it may have the opposite effect on the player. This means that they may lose motivation and confidence as they can't complete the goal that is set, meaning they may think they aren't good enough. This can affect their performance, as if they aren't confident, then they'll be nervous about making mistakes, meaning that they are more likely to happen and they're more likely to make mistakes.